Happy New Year, everyone. And for some of these clubs around Europe, they're hoping it's a new year, new them.
We got a full match day in the Premier League, a little short stack there in the Serie A. We got some transfer talk to go over. All this and more in episode 35 of the No Business Soccer podcast.
Let's dig in. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the No Business Soccer Podcast. I'm your host, Snooze, and we're here with not a full family, but we got J-Fam the Brainiac in the back. He's actually on the ones and twos today. And, of course, everybody's favorite, Hype Man, Vic. What are you sipping on today, dog?
Well, we are worried about finishing bottles. So I finished off my Heaven Hill Bottled in Bond 7-year whiskey here. I'll be finishing that. And there's some guitar strings pretty much on my thing here.
He's finished a lot of that already, obviously.
Yes. And whenever this is gone, I got another one I'm trying to finish here. This is the Jack Daniels single barrel strength. Amazing stuff. Good stuff. And don't worry, everyone. I set up the appointment. I get a haircut tomorrow. You'll stop seeing all this shit and everything. And I might
get that cut, please. He's got these sideburns that are crazy. You just got to worry. You got to watch out for them.
They kind of stick out every once in a while, but yeah, well, I got the haircut, and you're going to see my eyes wandering a little bit down here. I'm in a new setup, so I'm trying to get used to everything. So just letting you know, we'll be good. We'll be good, though.
We'll keep it rolling. We'll keep it right along. And today, like you said, we have a couple of things to go over in England and in Italy. And, of course, transfer talk is always fun. But before we get to those, I think we have a little hometown information first. So we're going to go to our correspondent in Austin, Texas, Hype Man Vic. Let's go to the Austin FC Minute.
I will try to keep this brief. It's just a minute that we call it, and this is a European soccer thing. So we have two new signings. Ilyas Sanchez over from LAFC. He's a veteran. He's a midfielder, something we did really need, especially with some of these other transfer talks we're going over and from our teams. But not only that, everybody already knows Brandon Vasquez from the U.S. men's team, played for Cincinnati, FC Cincinnati for a while, went to Mexico, played for Monterrey. Didn't really come to fruition the way he wanted it to. I think his best year was in 2022. But he's a young talent, 26 years old, on the men's team, has a lot of experience already, and he's primed and ready to go to be our new number 9. It sounds awesome.
That does sound awesome. I can't wait. The lack of goals has been kind of annoying, so hopefully he changes that. But I think there's a little bit of a rumor about our favorite player, our best player.
Yeah, and you know, just to go over what I kind of alluded to earlier, those departures. Owen Wolf is being looked at for, I think, PSV. He's one of our midfielders that usually does really good. He plays on the wing a couple times, but Danny Pereira has been looked at by so many teams. I think he's going to stay here. But Sebastian Reusi, he is, for all intents and purposes, gone back to River Plate. He's just, Austin FC needs to either approve the transfer. I think they offered 6 or 9 million for him. And everything's done except him actually moving, unless for some reason Austin FC just denies it. Who knows what's going to happen? But from what I can tell, he's probably gone. So Brandon Vasquez could not be arriving at a better time for us.
Yeah, if that does happen, I don't know if it's a like for like. Obviously, it's not a like for like, but we'll talk about it more if it happens. We don't want to dig in too much. For now, we have both, and that's cool. So
Snooze, imagine both of them for a full season.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Let's do it.
Yeah, well, that's it. We'll keep it short. Appreciate you guys. We'll talk about it again whenever things change.
Okay. And with that, I think we're going down one more short trip across the pond to Wales for the Wrexham recap. And last we spoke, it was back-to-back wins for the boys to get them back on track. But with 2 more quickfire games, could Wrexham continue to occupy one of the 2 automatic promotion spots in League One? Let's find out. And on New Year's Day, they started off against Barnsley. And against the run of play in that match, Barnsley gets a goal in the 10th minute. And what a goal it was. David Keeler Dunn, I believe it was pronounced, take a bow. It was really crazy to see these goals of that high quality in League One. No offense, I've never watched a lot of League One up until now. Then Barnsley doubled their lead thanks to a defensive error by Wrexham as the ball was given away, which put instant stress on the back line, and keeper Adam Phillips places it perfectly to make it 2-0. Sorry, backline and keeper. The keeper didn't place it. Adam Phillips placed it. And then after that, Wrexham had at least 5 or 6 clear as day chances. When I say clear, I mean clear to score. But Barnsley just had better luck, I guess, and Wrexham couldn't pull anything out until the 80th minute when they got one back, but it was too little too late. The match ends 2-1 to Barnsley. But what I did want to talk about in this one, and this one could be a whole podcast, honestly, but this one was a very good example of how weird extra and added time is, because in this match, the ref had given 7 minutes of added time, extra time, whatever you want to call it, at the end of the match. But Barnsley were doing the thing where, you know how it works. All the players fall down. They're all hurt. Every challenge, they go down, right? They're rolling around. And at one point, the Wrexham players were getting pissed, and they walk over to the ref, and he's like pointing at his watch, like insinuating that he was taking note of this and going to add it on. And then one particular case, it was like almost 2 minutes where the training staff came out and they put this guy, you're about to take him off, but magically, you know, because if they get you, you have to go off the pitch. Magically he pops up and he's fine. But all of that took a while, and it blew my mind that he pointed to the watch, everything. And at the end of it, at 7 minutes exactly, he blows the whistle. It's like, what is going on? Like, just stop the clock at that point. If you're not going to do it, if you're not going to give it back, the point was to have extra time. But if that extra time is also adding on because of an injury, I don't know. It's just a frustrating thing. And it's happened to Austin FC plenty of times too. You've seen it.
Oh yeah. That's one of the worst things I hate about soccer. No, I hate it, but just all the shithousery that happens. Like, oh man, it gets so every time it happens to me, like if somebody's blocking me out in FIFA, I just like dive at their legs. I'm like, get the fuck away, get out of the way. So that is one of my favorite words though, the shithousery, and I love the dark arts too. Whenever that's what they call it over there. And those are two of my favorite words. It's just not two of my favorite tactics. Okay, that was one match. Then they had Peterborough. Peterborough. That's a hard word to say in American accent. Peterborough. Save a couple of chances. This one was pretty slow to get going, but that all changed when one Stephen Fletcher came on in the 60th minute. In the 87th minute, he went. In the 87th minute, Rathbone's cross meets Stephen Fletcher's head and floats perfectly into the top corner to give Wrexham the 1-0 win. I don't know why that was so hard to get out, but the win was much needed to get them back on track. But these results, along with others in League One, sees Wrexham drop to third place as Birmingham jump into the top spot, 2 points ahead of Wrexham and Wycombe, but with 2 games in hand on Wrexham and 1 game on hand for Wycombe. So Birmingham has just definitely stepped up their game recently. Next up in the wonderful world of Wrexham is Port Vale in the Football League Trophy third round on Tuesday, 1-7, which was today. Holy crap, I wrote this down and even look at the match. That's bad punditry right there. Followed by a much-deserved and needed break before taking on 22nd in the table Shrewsbury in League One. So hopefully they can continue to get that win. 22nd? How many teams do they have in there?
24, I believe. 24. That's why they have games. Like, there's no international breaks. They just continue playing. It's tough, man. It's tough. A lot of teams up there. Anyways, up the town. Come on, boys. Let's do it. Okay. Boom. Done. Wrexham recap. Now, let's move on to a little bit of pizza, a little bit of Italia, a little bit of...
To Serie A.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
The cappuccinos. Yeah. There you go. Sorry, we're gonna get somebody hates us right now.
No. Serie A match day 19. We're gonna start on Saturday. Venezia and Empoli split the points in a 1-1 draw. This draw kind of served both teams well, as Empoli stopped a 3-game losing streak, and Venezia will take any points they can get at this point. Napoli dismantled our Fiorentina 3-0 at the Stadio Artemio Franchi, our stomping grounds. The score looks worse than what it could have been, as Moise Kean had a goal called off for a handball handball. I watched it. Like, there's no way it was a handball. The ball didn't even change trajectory. And Fiorentina had plenty of chances to get the score level before McTominay killed it off in the 70th minute with the third goal. This one was pretty disappointing. They was just very wasteful of our Fiorentina. Verona and Udinese in 0-0. There's something nostalgic about seeing Alexis Sanchez, though. He's playing for Udinese, and I always forget that. Every time he comes on, I'm like, oh, yeah, Alexis Sanchez, nice. Sunday, the 6-pointer between relegation candidates Monza and Cagliari ends 2-1 in Cagliari's favor. And please check out the 2 goals for Cagliari. They were just ridiculous long-range shots. Chef's kiss for both of them. You wouldn't really say, hey, go check out Monza and Cagliari highlights, and you probably get some people to roll their eyes at you, but for real, go check them out. They're really good. Lecce in Genoa, the milkmen, of course, go 0-0. But one of the strangest things I've ever seen occur on a pitch occurred in this match, where Morten Thorsby missed a sitter, as they call it, and the ball popped up, hit the crossbar, and on the volley for that bar, Andrea Piomanti, he hits the crossbar in the same exact spot on the volley. Man, it was like 1 second apart, 2 shots, both of them hit the same spot. It was like one of those bloopers, honestly. It's hilarious. And Parma and Torino also get a 0-0. I think, what is that, 2-0-0s, 3-0-0s? But Shea Adams should have had a hat trick in this one if it weren't for Parma keeper Zion Suzuki, who's been popping up on my radar lately as I'm doing all of these reviews. He's one to keep an eye on. He looks like he might be playing himself out of this team. He might be going on up into a bigger and better things. No offense. And the final match of the Serie A weekend sees one of the biggest battles for Rome that we've seen in a while, because Lazio needed a win in this one, and Roma are just not that good right now. But this one does end Roma 2, Lazio 0, and we'll talk more about that here in a second. We'll break it down. But before we do, Vic, tell us about that table.
Yeah, well, if we take a look at the table, you'll see Napoli on top. They have 44 points, also on a 4-game winning streak, looking pretty good. But right behind them is Atalanta with the game in hand with 41 points, so they could take over Napoli with a win, as long as they, they have a good goal differential. They'll be fine. They could take over Napoli for the number 1 spot with the win. And Inter Milan behind them with 40 points. They can take over Napoli and Atalanta because they have 2 games in hand. Have 40 points on a 5-game winning streak and looking pretty damn good right now. So possible for them. And then, like you said, our Lazio get a much not needed loss. Terrible for them. 35 points in the 4th spot. And just behind them is Juventus in the, I always say the S, Juventus. In the 5th spot with 32 points. Fiorentina tied with them in the 6th spot with 32 points as well. And if we take a look at the bottom of the table, our milkman joined the relegation squad since Cagliari did get a win, like you just talked about. They have 17 points in the 18th spot behind Cagliari on goal differential. But Venezia has 19. Venezia is in 19th. I still have their little star and their logo there.
I like it.
Put it there because they're not in last place with 14 points. And Monza staying in form with another loss, 5 in a row in the bottom spot, 20th spot with 10 points. Pretty hard watching them right now, but we still got some games in the season. I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be fun to watch.
Okay. And now back to some talking points we have for Serie A. Unfortunately, we do have to start with our Lazio because they've been pretty confusing as of late. And they went from mid-October through November and got 5 straight wins. But since December, they've gone 2 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw, which I'm saying it's weird, but it sounds about mid-table. But the reason why I'm saying it's weird is because they started off with a 3-1 loss to Parma and followed that loss up with a 1-0 win over Napoli. I mean, what are we doing here? Where's the consistency? They went on to lose 6-0 to Inter after that, but beat Lecce and then drew with Atalanta to stop their 11-game winning streak. So it's kind of tough because, of course, they're getting good results, but they're mixing in some bad ones as well. Because right after that one, they lose 2-0 to a struggling mid-table Roma this weekend. And it's just insane. They're mortal enemies. You always turn up for that game. They had them on the ropes just going into this one based off of how the season has gone for Roma. And I'm just not sure what to think of Lazio right now. It's just been a confusing season for them in Serie A. But the good thing is they're still way high up on the table. So they're going to get into Europe more than likely. We just got to see them kind of string together some results. And what I can say about getting some results is that they get Como and Verona, both, who are barely out of the relegation places, up next before they get a match with Fiorentina, who have their struggles of their own. So they definitely have a way to get back on track and to get some consistency going into that match. But Vic, we got to see some consistency. We got to get some results here.
I know, right? I need to wear that kit a little bit more. Maybe that's what it is. I haven't worn it in a while.
We both haven't worn it. Whenever they're we both got to wear it. We got to see them win.
Yeah, we'll go over it Thursday. We can go for the next games. Find out when we're wearing it. So
yes, sir. The next team we're going to talk about is Venezia, who Vic still has starred because they're not last anymore. And Venezia got through these past 5 games with 1 win, 3 draws, and 1 loss, which, like Vic said, brings them up to 14 points and into 19th place. But they do get Inter Milan next. That's not a good game to get. The only thing good about that is that Como, Cagliari, and Lecce, they're all above them in the table, like right above them in the table. And they have Lazio, Empoli, and Milan up next. So I don't expect any of those teams to really gain any ground on Venezia. So it's kind of, hopefully it'll be a wash there. And I don't know why Venezia is like my pet project, our pet project this season, to see if they stay up. But maybe it's because they have a cool match day like gondola thing. Maybe it's because Buzio's American, he's playing for them. I don't know. Either way, let's do it, boys. I really want to see them do it and stay up. And I think, let's see. Yeah, Empoli, they have a 3-game losing streak of their own. No, did I get this right? What is going on with my notes here? Sorry about that, guys. What I will say though is that if Venezia end up getting any points from Inter, which they probably won't, it'll be really good for them. I can see them. They're starting to get some momentum, and maybe they pull it off. We don't know. We'll see what happens. Inter, they did just lose midweek to Milan, the Milan derby for the Italia. Was it Supercoppa Italia?
I forgot what it was. Yeah.
There's so many cups across Europe. We don't cover a lot. We only cover, the main leagues. But either way, the cool thing was seeing the Milan coach like smoking a cigar and dancing. He's just getting it. Nice. Good times, good vibes. The last thing I want to talk about in Serie A is Fiorentina. They have 1 win, 1 draw, and 3 losses in their last 5 matches. And this has seen them fall to where they are just about in the European places, tickling the European places. And the gap between them and Bologna is now just 4 points, which it was much bigger a few weeks ago. In their defense, though, they have played Bologna directly, which does affect that, obviously. Juve and Napoli in 3 of those 5 matches, which none of those are easy, but they should really not be losing to Udinese. That was one that crushed them. Some things got to change to get their mojo going, and I think a date with Monza is just what the doctor ordered, because Monza are bottom of the table and have lost 6 straight matches in all competitions. And after that is mid-table Torino, and then it's a fun one with our Lazio, like we were just talking about. And it'll be pretty cool because both of these teams heading into that match have some, I don't want to say layups, but essentially layups. So it might come down to it. It might just see 2 teams that are coming in on a little bit of a winning streak and still need to continue that. And we could see some fireworks. So looking forward to that match on, what is that, January 26th, I believe. So looking forward to it. Vic, who will you go for in that match? Let's just put it that way.
Who are you?
Or is your heart split?
I'll go for I'll go for the other one. Yeah.
I'm gonna split my kit and then do like the half. Do it in half.
Yeah.
I can't choose between them.
Yeah, they're gonna have no idea why these Americans are doing that.
Yeah, right. Like when you went to 1 game for both these teams, and yes, my heart is with them.
Yeah, I'll probably go. I'll probably go Fiorentina because purple's my mom's favorite color. So.
Aw, that's the cutest thing ever. Okay.
And light blue is the Tennessee Titans, and Daniel. I don't want to support Daniel.
I see. Okay, fair
enough. Go. That makes sense.
Okay, well, we're picking teams based on colors now. So let's move on to the next the next segment. I think it's time to go to Jolly Old England, Vic.
Let's go to the Prim.
Hey, is it me or are these transitions for JFam back there just crisp?
Pretty crispy. You're right.
Oh boy, on it today. Okay, let's get it. Saturday, January 4th, of 2025. Newcastle keeps the good vibes going as they beat Spurs on the road 2-1. That's now 5 wins in a row for Newcastle as they are flying at the moment. Spurs, on the other hand, have won just twice in their last 10 matches in the Prem. That's not good. David Brooks' 77th minute goal was enough to get all 3 points for Bournemouth against Everton in a 1-0 win. It was a sweet, sweet goal. But in the summer, we talked about Milos Kerkez. I think that's how you pronounce it. Milos Kerkez, the Hungarian defender for the Cherries. And he's starting to show his class, and he's starting to get a lot of attention. Teams are starting to want him from these bigger clubs. But, yeah, it's pretty cool to be, we talk about a player, and he's starting to pop off. It's cool to see that right there. But yeah, Milos Kerkez, I think he had 2 assists in this one. Or sorry, he had 2 perfect assist chances. He had one that was the goal. Aston Villa beats Leicester 2-1 at Villa Park. This one took a while to get going, but Ross Barkley's ridiculous long-range shot sparked the flames. Villa needed this win to get back on track for Leicester. That's now 5 losses in a row for Ruud van Nistelrooy's boy. That's tough to say.
Oh, damn.
Let's just call them RVN's boys. There we go. Ruud van Nistelrooy's boys. Anyway, it was looking good at first, but they've definitely fallen off. And the curse of the Flowers continues to haunt Chelsea as they drop points again, this time to Crystal Palace as they draw 1-1 at Selhurst Park. This result leaves Chelsea with only 1 win in their last 5 matches. I believe that is when I called the Flowers, and that's pretty crazy. That's insane. They were so good before that. We'll talk about more of that in a second. Brentford destroy Southampton as the Bees really needed those 3 points as they hadn't won in the previous 4 Premier League matches. Saints are certainly marching into the championship next season. But the funniest part was, I don't know if you saw this, and this is a hilarious thing. Southampton players, Adam Armstrong, he was selected to give a kit away after the game to the I guess it was whoever was like their big players in the suites. They had a giveaway at Southampton for whoever got the score right. Adam Armstrong would come hand them a kit. Well, this mom, who looks like she's not really a Southampton fan, guessed that they would get their asses kicked by Brentford because the game ended 5-0 to Brentford, and she guessed that. And everybody was pissed off because he literally had to go hand her a kit as she guessed the right score. And she was all like, yeah, I got it. And everybody's like, what's your problem? Like, oh, damn. Man, it was hilarious. Watch the video if you haven't. It's really funny.
Might as well get something out of it. Your team's going to suck. Might as well.
Mean, could you imagine her turning that in and then being like, oh, damn, this is stupid. And then like she's oh, God, that's hilarious. Anyway, Man City get back on track with a 4-1 win over West Ham. This was essentially Savinho's coming out party, as they say. He scored 1 and provided both of the assists in Haaland's brace. That's 2 wins in a row for City, and can they keep it up is the real question. Arsenal and Brighton split the points in a 1-1 draw. That's now 4 straight draws for Brighton, and now they are without a win in their last 9 matches. Arsenal will be fine with a draw, but a win would have been timely since we'll talk about Liverpool's match here in a second. On Sunday, 1-5-25, Fulham draw 2-2 with Ipswich Town at Craven Cottage. On the broadcast, they mentioned that Fulham have now gone unbeaten in the Prem for 8 straight matches, and they haven't done that since 2008. It's a great season for them. And Ipswich won't mind a point as they continue to push out of the bottom. The one that we are all talking about, Liverpool and Manchester United in 2-2, which stopped a 3-game winning streak for Liverpool and a 3-game losing streak for Manchester United. We'll talk more about this one in a second. On Monday, 1-6-25, Wolves fall to Nottingham Forest 3-0 in a revenge game for Nuno Espirito Santo. Not really a revenge game, but it's kind of like a movie where Wolves are dreading the one that got away, and then that person goes on to do way better and, have regrets and stuff, because that's what's going on with Nuno when he went to Forest. They're just flying right now, and they get a 3-0 win. That's pretty cool. In a Monday night football match, too.
Nice.
Ooh, see what I did there?
Put a show on, yeah.
All right. Well, Vic, where does that leave us with the table, sir?
Well, don't worry. The table's still in good hands because Liverpool is on top, 46 points. That draw, luckily, Arsenal in the second spot as well at 40 points. Got a draw. So we kind of kept the gap there, still up 6 points. And also Liverpool has a game in hand. Nottingham Forest, still on an absolute tear. They're at least 6 straight in a row. They have 6 straight wins in a row. Man, just having like the stuff down here throws me off so much. Uh, so bad. So I'm sorry, everybody. But in the third spot is Nottingham Forest, tied with Arsenal with 40 points. In the fourth spot is Chelsea with 36 points. They are haven't gotten a win in the last 4 games. And rounding out the European spots that we have for the tournaments is Newcastle United in the 5th spot with 35 points. And if we go all the way to the bottom, you'll find Ipswich Town in the 18th spot. Yeah, they have 16 points this year. Leicester City have 14 points and are also on a 5-game losing streak. For them, they're in the 19th spot. And boy, Southampton, absolutely not looking very good. They have 6 points. Also, a little note: they have 12 goals this year. They played 20 games. Like, can you imagine your team just not scoring for 8 games? Like, just think football terms. Like, if you went to like every game, your team didn't score for like almost half of them. You would just
that was Austin FC's first season. Do you remember that?
That's true.
I know exactly.
I guess that's very true. Like. Yeah, but they're holding up the league in the 20th spot with 6 points, not looking very good. But snooze, Chelsea, since you gave them their flowers, have not got a win. They have a draw, 2 losses, and another draw. But Newcastle United have been on a 5-game win streak, trying to get in the Champions League. I think you got some more information on Newcastle United, don't you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We do. I'm not going to give them their flowers yet, though, because I don't know.
Please don't, for their sake. Don't do it.
All right. Well, Newcastle, I believe they are all the way back from their early season funk as they sit in 5th as we inch past the halfway point of the season. They played 20 matches, so let's split that in half and take a look at it, shall we? In the first 10 matches, they had 4 wins, 3 draws, and 3 losses with 10 goals for and 10 goals against. So that's pretty much a mid-table team right there, which is where they were. It wasn't horrible, but definitely not what we expected from a Newcastle team that had no European matches this year to worry about. But in the last 10 matches, they've gone 6 wins, 2 draws, and 2 losses with, get this, Vic, 24 goals for and 12 goals against. So more than double their goals for in the last 10 matches. And this is the craziest part. They've only allowed 1 single goal in their past 5 matches. That's insane. God. And Spurs were that 1 goal, by the way. I just want to throw that out there. The biggest, we still lost. Yeah, I know, we still lost. The biggest change in all of Newcastle, I was kind of digging around to see what changed really. Well, the biggest change is Alexander Isak's form. The first 10 matches, he had 3 goals and 1 assist. In the last 10 matches, he's been on fire. He has 10 goals and 3 assists in the last 10 matches. So, okay, you see why they're leveling up and why they have 24 goals for when they had 10 in the first match. Another reason, though.
Sorry, that dude is so good. I have to say that dude is so good.
No, it's fine.
It's ridiculous, man.
He's awesome. He looks like he's just big and lengthy too.
Yeah,
He's just really good. Like, I feel like every time he gets on in the box, he's going to score.
Yeah.
And it looks like, 10 goals in 10 games. Pretty much, yes, he is doing that. But it's not just him. Another person to call out is Anthony Gordon, who had 2 goals and 1 assist in the first half. But since in the last 10 matches, he's raised that 2 and 1 to 3 goals and 3 assists in the second half. And I don't know what clicked, but they've started to click, and they've really come alive in the second half of the season, or the second half of the first half of the season. You know what I'm trying to say?
The second quarter? The second quarter.
Yeah, there you go. I could have said that. But next for Newcastle is the first leg of the Carabao Cup semifinal, which they won. I could tell you they won today 2-0 against Arsenal. And then they have FA Cup action against Bromley before meeting the in-form Wolverhampton Wanderers in the Prem. They were in form. I wrote this before they lost. So, but still, they're still in form, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Another team we're going to talk about is Fulham, who've really started to fall off a bit. We didn't give them their flowers for the record. I didn't say flowers. I just gave them a shout out. And but since then, they've really fallen off. They only have 2 wins in the last 10 matches. And while we were applauding them for surviving the gauntlet in their schedule, that was Spurs, Brighton, Arsenal, and Liverpool all in a row, they've now drawn with Ipswich, Bournemouth, and Southampton, which that's not good. So they're starting to creep more towards the mid-table team that we were assuming they would be versus the European team that they were starting to look like in the first half of the season anyway. But again, they have a lot of season left to go. They can string together some wins. I just wanted to call that out because Fulham, for as good as I felt like they were doing, they've kind of slipped up a bit. And now the match that we've all been waiting to talk about, I know Vic has, Liverpool and Manchester United. They end 2-2 again, which stopped a 3-game winning streak for Liverpool and a 3-game losing streak for Manchester United. United got it started thanks to a Lisandro Martinez goal. And I don't know what happened. I didn't get to watch that goal specifically, but people are tearing up TAA's ass because they're saying he was horrible at defending this one. It was not just this goal, but just all match. And I don't see him ever. I mean, I see him getting some kind of criticism for his defending, but it feels like it's really come to fruition for this match, Vic.
Yeah, I've been saying that. I don't know why he's on defense. He's not good on defense. He can't mark anybody for more than 2.5 seconds. But yeah, like almost every goal that they had was TAA's fault, either in the buildup or he just passed the second goal. He passed it to Manchester United. It looked bad. Virgil gave him the death stare. I think almost everybody's seen that where Virgil was just looking at him like, get your shit together.
God damn it.
Exactly. There are also some rumors that him and Trent actually like went chest to chest, like they were about to like start fighting and shit. So
maybe they were just discussing where they're going this next season.
They might have, yeah. That's one thing. Like TAA, there's a Real Madrid transfer off. He's obviously everybody's talking about. So they're like, is he packing it in already? Is he trying to go? Liverpool keeps saying no for this, and I don't know. But
it's, on that note, by the way, former United captain Roy Keane told Sky Sports there's talk about him, TAA, going to Real Madrid, but the way he's defending today, he's going to Tranmere Rovers after this. And that was hilarious because Tranmere Rovers responded on Twitter saying, nah, we're good. Thanks. I mean, obviously everyone's joking, but that's just like, I've never seen them get so much criticism before. And, but hey, we can't just stop there though. We have to give someone not their flowers, but we just got to give someone their praise for being good. Okay. United's lead didn't last more than 7 minutes though, because of who? Cody Gakpo placed a perfect shot from a tough angle to draw Liverpool level. And the way he celebrated, I honestly didn't think that he scored. Like I saw the ball go in, but he just walked away. And I was like, I was like, wait, did he not? Was he offside? Like, did he not score? And that was pretty crazy. And then, of course, you know who has to score every match? Salah gets a penalty in the 70th minute, and it looked like that was going to be the end of the match. Obviously, Liverpool win freaking everything this year until the 80th minute, where Amad Diallo slipped one past Alisson to split the points. And whenever you watch that goal, you're like, wait, why? It just seemed like a slow death. Right? It was like it was just rolling. Like, how? Yeah. Why did nobody get that?
I have no idea, man.
You know, it was crazy.
Looked pretty bad, but I think that's the worst Liverpool are going to play, and I think that's the best Manchester United probably looked. And if it ends in a draw, I'm kind of happy with that. We didn't drop points. We at least got a point out of it, and we still have a game in hand. So Liverpool has a game in hand. But I will say this: Manchester United did look pretty good. They looked like the number one team in that game. Anyway, they were commanding the field. Absolutely just making the right passes, even if TAA was the one passing as well. But anyway,
helping them out a little bit.
Yeah, he might have helped him out a little bit.
There, a lot of the podcasts and things I was listening to was like, I think people were waiting to have something to hate on Liverpool about, which is crazy to me, because it's so all the stuff I heard was so negative about like Liverpool's defending. And it's like, yeah, but they've had a great defensive record all season. Why is it all of a sudden they've dropped points to Manchester United and now it's a big deal? But I think it's more or less like, yeah, against the bigger teams, they're starting to show cracks in the defense. Yes, of course, they'll score 7 on you. Like, they'll score 7.
Because Southampton scored 2 on us, too. So,
there you go.
It's not the big teams. Yeah, it's not just the big teams.
There's definitely cracks on the defensive side of that team. And maybe it's not going to mean anything to the title race in the Premier League because it's pretty much already done. Not necessarily because of what Liverpool are doing, but are not only because of what they're doing, but because what every other title contender isn't doing. Like Arsenal's dropping points left and right. City's out of it. Chelsea aren't for real. Forest, come on, they're not going to be. You know what? They might use that as locker room material. They might, yeah. But
I mean, they're at least 6 game wins. I don't even know how long it's been since they got a loss. So
there's
good. Man.
This might be the first time that the winning team in the Prem doesn't almost hit 100 points. Let's just put it that way. They don't have to, right? Because all the other teams have slipped up. So this is a great season to have a leaky defense for Liverpool because everybody else is not catching up to them either way. I think the biggest concern would be the Champions League, but I mean, Real Madrid win that every year anyway, so
Yeah, I
who
don't think it
cares,
matters.
right?
Yeah.
Who cares?
I will say just a little call out here. I need people to score on Arsenal and Nottingham Forest because we have the most goals for, we have the most wins, we have the least losses, we have the most. I just want the least amount of goals against, and I think Arsenal is at 18, Nottingham Forest is at 19. We're at 19 too. I was like, I want that, just that last little gem in our little Premier League
I'll tell you
Infinity
this.
Gauntlet.
I'll tell you this. It's a North London derby, Spurs against Arsenal. And one thing that Spurs can do, we can't win games or stop anyone,
Yeah.
but we damn sure can score. So
I need you to lose like 9-10. That would be awesome. Yeah.
That'd be cool. Hey, you know what? The way the things have been going, that might happen. But we're going to talk about some transfer news real quick because some of the news that we were talking about, we already talked about the Liverpool players. Like I'm hearing that Virgil. I'm hearing like I have inside.
Yeah.
I've heard from podcasts and stuff. Yeah, I guess technically, yeah. You know, I've heard. But I've heard that Virgil and Salah are close to staying, which is good for Liverpool. That TA is almost certainly gone. But there's other people around the Prem or other teams that are looking to get kind of out and get some reinforcements, let's say, for the back half of the season. Mostly City. Those are the ones that I've heard a lot of rumors about. They're looking at bringing in a lot of people. And one of the cool things that I want to talk about, this might be more of an inside thing. Who cares, though? Spurs, they got a new keeper, which we talked about this whenever Liverpool whooped our ass. We needed one because we were working on our third keeper. Well, we brought in Slavia Prague's keeper. So that's pretty cool.
Saw that.
Right? That's awesome.
Right. Yeah, I saw that.
Like,
yeah.
It's like I mean, I don't know. We obviously
I was watching that game and I saw I heard them say, yeah, from Slavia Prague. And I was like, hey,
awesome.
We've been there. Awesome. Yeah, it's cool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But outside of that little tweak, there hasn't been a lot going on yet as far as signings going. I've heard that Arsenal aren't planning to make a big splash, but City and Manchester United might. And so, yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's the 7th. We still got a whole month to go. Usually January isn't a big month for transfers, so we'll have to see how it turns out. But yeah, we're looking forward to it. And obviously, if anything changes, we'll have a little segment or something like a breaking news. We'll talk about it. And I think that is it before we have our look ahead on Thursday, Vic. So take us home.
We just want to say thank you guys for taking your time out of the day and listening to us talk and rant about some stuff, some shit. Please follow us on all of our socials. Everything is at No Business Soccer Podcast, except for X/Twitter or TikTok. It's at No Biz Soc Pod, just to save you some little keystrokes there. Let us know what you want to hear down in the comments below. Say hi to us. We want to talk to you guys, see what you guys are doing and what you want us to cover. But other than that, if we don't talk to you Thursday, I hope we talk to you Thursday. We will talk to you next week. Y'all have a good one. Stay safe out there. Stay warm if you are in the Texas area. And we will talk to you all soon. Peace.